Hey lovelies, welcome back. Here is the makeover I did on my sister for her birthday as promised. To start off, I'm just going to be prepping her skin for foundation application. I'm going to prime her skin with some milk of magnesia, and this is just going to ensure that her makeup lasts throughout the day. I'm also going to be using some primer potion on her brows.
Controller, controller, she's a controller, controller, controller.
To fill in her brows, I'm going to be using my brow wiz in dark brown, and I must say Anastasia Beverly Hills brow wiz are my favorite thing to use when filling in the brows.
Don't care cause I know I'm a leader. If you say no, your girl's not with it. I'm the new king up in my city. Girl, you giving me sexual healing. Oh girl, diving deep in your ocean.
To highlight under her brows, I'm going to be using my MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NC45. And I'm just using this to clean up under her brows, and I'm doing this using a Real Techniques detailer brush. To further fill in her brows, I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills brow powder in the shade dark brown, and this is just going to seal the pencil we've used earlier on, and it's just going to make sure that her brows look very full and they last throughout the day. And then to conceal the top of her brows, I'm going to be using my MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NW43, and this shade, no actually NW45, and this shade is much closer to her skin tone. Onto her skin, I'm first of all going to be color correcting her hyperpigmentation, and I'm going to be using my L Girl Pro Conceal Corrector in the shade Orange. For her foundation, I'm going to be using my Black Opal Stick Foundation in the shade Hazelnut, and I'm just going to apply this all over her face. I'm going to spray my foundation brush using some e.l.f. makeup setting spray, and then I'm just going to buff the product right into her skin.
It's your boy easy. Yeah. Are you ready?
To highlight her skin, I'm going to be using my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Amande and Caramel. I'm going to apply this to the areas of her face that I'd like to highlight, and then I'm going to blend it in using a damp beauty blender.
I no go let you go. Where I no go do you, basa basa, baby, trust in me. I go do your body like skin tight. Where I go do by your side. 10 times when I no get to sneak out, you did by my side. So make I do your body like skin tight. Where I go do by your side. Cause 10 times when I no get to sneak out, you did by my side. Oh na 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 na.
To contour her face, I'm going to be taking my Nye Cream shadow in the shade Extra Dark, and I'm going to apply this around the perimeters of her face, and then I'm also going to use this brush to buff the product into her skin. Once I'm done contouring and highlighting her face, I'm going to go back in with my foundation brush. I'm going to use this to blend everything together so there are no harsh lines on her face. To set her highlighted areas, I'm going to be going in with one of my new favorites, and that is the Sacha Buttercup Setting Powder. Once I'm done setting her highlighted areas, I'm going to be going in with the face powder, which is the MAC Miniralize Skin Finish in Dark. I'm just going to use this to set the rest of her face. To set her contoured areas, I'm going to be going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Powder in the shade Espresso. Once this is done, I'm going to be going with the face powder I used on her, and I'm going to be using this to reverse contour her face slightly. Starting off the eyes, I'm going to be using MAC's eyeshadow in Brown Script as her first transition color, and I'm just buffing this above the crease area. For her eyelid, I'm going to be taking Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow in Beauty Mark. I'm just going to apply this all over our eyelid and make sure to take it up onto the crease line. To blend out that Beauty Mark eyeshadow I've just applied, I'm going to be taking another Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow, and this is the shade Deep Plum. It's pretty close to the first color I've used, and I'm going to take this on a tapered blending brush and I'm going to buff out both colors into her crease area. I'm going to be going back into the first transition color I used, and I'm going to use this to blend everything together, and that is pretty much the brown smoky eye created. To line her eyes, I'm just using my MUA eyeliner pencil in the shade Black. Then I'm going to go back in and take the brown eyeshadow I applied all over her eyelid, which is Beauty Mark, and I'm going to smudge this under her lower lash line, and then I'm also going to use the transition color and smudge this also under her lower lash line. I'm just going back in with my powder brush and I'm just cleaning off the rest of her face and dusting off any excess powder on her face. To line her eyes, I'm going to be using my Inglot Gel Liner in number 77. I'm also going to be lining our eyes using Nye Cream's eyeliner in the shade Rhyme, and this is just a lovely gold color, and we just decided to put this on the eye as well, just to, you know, sparkle things up a bit since we're not using any glitter. For her cheeks, I'm going to be using MAC's blush in Sweetest Cocoa and Amber in Rose. To highlight her cheeks, I'm going to be using my current favorite highlighter, and that is the Becca highlighter in Opal and Topaz. I'm just setting in that glow using the e.l.f. makeup setting spray, and then I'm going to be applying some mascara onto her top and her lower lash line. So onto the lips, I'm going to be lining her lips using my OCC lip liner pencil in the shade Sybil, and this is a very gorgeous dark brown lip pencil. It's my second favorite lip liner to use after my MAC Chestnut lip pencil. To fill in her lips, I'm going to be using one of my favorite ever lip tar from OCC, and this is the shade Covet. Shape nice, no doubt. Bad girl, I can shout to. For real. Next, I'm going to be taking the shade Interlace, and this is my favorite shade to mix with the other lip tars that I have. I'm just going to use this to lighten up her lips a little. And then I'm just going back in with the foundation I used on her face, and I'm just cleaning around her lips. And next we're going to be applying some lashes, and I'm using the Eyelord Cherry lashes, and I think it's in Girls Night Out. Controlla. Mama, you're a controller. So guys, that is pretty much everything, and I'm just setting her face, and you guys can see her smiling now because she is filling her makeup. And thank you all so much for staying tuned. Please guys, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.